Hello, and welcome back to Happy News, etc. Learning Mandarin. Today we continue off with our journey learning a new language, and I hope if you're following along that you're enjoying these lessons. And if you're here and you're here after, if you press that like button, it really helps grow the channel and maybe help somebody else who's struggling, an American or somebody trying to learn English. I imagine that maybe this can be reverse engineered. We'll find out maybe one day through the chat. All right, let's start with the teacher talk.
Hello everyone, 我是 Maggie.
And I'm Chris. In this teacher talk, we're going to explore a topic that often confuses Chinese learners, but is essential for mastering natural Chinese. It is measure words.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Measure words are everywhere in Chinese.
And I think some comfort can be found in the fact that English has them too, like a piece of cake or 2 cups of coffee, right? A piece, a cup.
I was struggling with this yesterday.
The difference is in Chinese is that you need them every time you want to count or point to something. And it can be hard to keep track of which one is right.
Yeah, right. So let's start with when to use measure words in Chinese. There are basically 2 main situations.
The first is when you're describing the quantity of something. This is particularly important because Chinese doesn't have a singular plural S to put on the end of words.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the reason why we need the measure word. And the basic structure is a number plus a measure word plus a noun. So, for example, I can say 2块蛋糕.
2
2块蛋糕. 2 pieces of cake. So we have a number 2. And here, 块 is the measure word, which means a piece of something or a chunk of something.
Right.
And then 蛋糕 is the noun, cake. So 2块蛋糕 together, 2 pieces of cake. Or 3个人, 3个人, that's 3 people.
Yeah, so this structure is very systematic. Number first, then the measure word, then the noun. And these 2 are a great example because the first one, 2 pieces of cake, is exactly like English. And then 3 people, we can see there's an extra word in there. It's kind of like 3 units of people.
Yeah, right. But we do need that unit in Chinese. We need a measure word. So that's the first situation. And then the second one is that when you are referring to a specific object or person, then you need to use the structure 这, which means this, or 那, which means that, plus the measure word, and then at the end, the noun. So, for example, 那个人, that person,
that girl, that,
那个人, or 这瓶可乐,
this bottle of soda,
可乐, this bottle of cola.
Yeah, and this is where it diverges from English a bit because it seems much more natural to say that guy or this soda. We no longer need measure words in English, but in Chinese it sounds incomplete if you drop that word in the middle.
Yeah, in Chinese the measure word is necessary and it can make the communication clearer. So the measure word can tell us the type or form of a noun, so the listener knows exactly what you mean.
Yeah, Chinese can be vague about number, but it is very clear about the shape of what we're talking about.
Right, so for example, 一杯咖啡.
一杯咖啡.
一杯咖啡, that's a cup of coffee. But 一瓶咖啡, 一瓶咖啡, that's a bottle of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm not sure if I've ever had a bottle of coffee before, if you said this to me, I know you meant the kind you get from the 7-Eleven cooler and not from Starbucks.
Yeah, right. And another example is cake. So 一个蛋糕. 一个蛋糕, that's a whole cake.
蛋糕, a whole
While
cake, right.
一 块蛋糕
is a piece of cake.
一块蛋糕 it's a piece of cake. So a tiny difference in measure word, a huge difference in calorie.
Yeah, and this is another good example of where measure words end in English but still continue in Chinese. In English, you would say a piece of cake, and then you just say a cake for the whole thing. But yeah, again, in Chinese, you can't omit the measure word ever. That is the theme we're going with. No skipping measure words.
Yeah, right. Using the
Right.
correct
Makes
measure
sense.
word ensures your meaning is precise and communication is smooth. That's why measure words are so important in everyday Chinese.
Yeah, so obviously you're not going to get all of the measure words down today, but let's take a look at a couple and how they pair with different nouns. And, we'll take this step by step and you'll eventually get there.
Yeah, and let's look at some interesting ones first. So take 口, for example, is a measure
口
word for people within a family. That's because in ancient times, a household was counted by how many mouths ate together. So we say there are 两口人 in my family. So 两口人, that's two people
members.
in my family.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's a nice one because it's one of those moments where English and Chinese seem to kind of have independently come up with the same metaphorical idea. It's very much like I have a
noticed
lot
the
of
same
mouths
what
to
he's
feed at
describing.
home.
I noticed the same things.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like it when it seems like independent parts of the world came up with the same kind of ideas.
Yeah, but in Chinese now we have more different measure words and they all have their own logic. For example, many are based on shape or container. So we mentioned 杯, which means cup, or 瓶, which means bottle. They are very commonly used measure words. And for shape, we have 块, like we mentioned, a piece of cake, 一块蛋糕. And we also have 条, which is used for long things, or 张, that's a measure word for flat and wide things.
Yeah, and it might feel overwhelming to hear so many of them, but I like the idea behind it of things that are the same shape going together. I mean, in Chinese, for example, a river and a fish are both long, skinny things, so they would take this measure word 条. And
Yeah, they share the same measure word.
I don't know. That stuck in my brain from day one, and I just thought, I mean, I guess fish are in the river, but I never would have put them together as the same type of thing in my mind. So.
Oh, yeah, I think we have different imagination about the nature in ancient times. But at the very beginning, if you don't know which one to use, because there are too many measure words in Chinese, you can always use the most flexible one. That's 个.
Yeah,
个.
that is a lifesaver. You can use it with everything. A lot of people, upon learning Chinese, they learn 这个, and they just go 这个, 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 as they point to everything.
Yeah, right. So you can use 个 with things, animals, or people. Like I can say 一个人, or 一个朋友, a friend, or 一个蛋糕, a cake.
Yeah, works almost everywhere, and it'll get you through your first year of living in China.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's it for the measure words we're going to introduce you to today.
Yeah, the measure words, they might seem small, but they are really essential in Chinese.
And they carry meanings about quantity or shape or type. But when in doubt, just remember you can use 个. It's a real lifesaver.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we'll see you next time on Teacher Talk. Bye-bye.
All right, that was a good one. I remember using 个 a lot when practicing. In Chinese, measure words help the listener understand the exact type or shape of a noun. I want to learn how to say thank you. That would be nice. Teacher
Hi
talk.
everyone, I'm Chris.
我是 Maggie.
我
And in this
是
teacher talk, we are going to talk about a very common mistake that beginners often make in Chinese.
So we can do our intros. 你好，我是 CJ, and welcome back to Happy News, etc.
Using 和 to mean and in the wrong way.
Yeah, English speakers tend to use and because they want the grammar of their Chinese sentences to mirror the grammar of their English sentences. But in Chinese, the rules are a bit different and it's not used quite as much.
Yeah, so first, let's start with the correct usage of 和. It's used to connect two nouns or noun phrases.
Right.
So the structure is very simple, just A 和
我
B.
和
Yeah, so anytime you want two things to be
我的女
part of
朋
the
友
subject or noun phrase, you can use 和.
Yeah, so for example, 咖啡和
和
蛋
牛
糕
奶蛋糕
咖啡和蛋糕 that's
Coffee
coffee and
bread cake with cake
or 一个面包和
Bread
两杯牛奶
with
So
a
that's our
glass of
two
milk.
phrases. 一个面包和两杯牛奶
a
a
loaf
piece
of
of bread
and
and 2 cups of milk.
2 cups of milk.
Or I can also say 我和我的朋友我和我的朋友
Me and my
My
friend.
friend and I.
Yeah, my friend and I.
Yeah, so it's worth noting here that there's no rule like in
我
English that you
和的
put
朋友
yourself last in the
我
list.
和我的朋友
It's probably more common to say 我 at the beginning than it is to say it second, though both are acceptable.
Yeah, right. So it's very natural to say 我和我的朋友 My friend and I.
Yeah, so basically what happens grammatically is you take this noun and this noun, you put 和 in the middle, and it becomes a single noun phrase, like could be the subject of the sentence, could be the object of the sentence, but that is when you would use 和.
Yeah, right. So for sentences, I can say 我要咖啡和蛋糕我要咖啡和蛋糕 I want coffee and cake. Or Tom 和 Jerry 是朋友 Tom 和 Jerry 是朋友
Tom and Jerry
Tom and Jerry are friends.
are friends.
Are they? They don't seem to get along very well. Yes. Tom and Jerry,
They
two of
actually
the
are.
classic characters of China. You will see them.
If you never knew, Tom pretends to catch Jerry and never succeeds because Jerry is there to catch Tom. But he loves him, so he doesn't want to catch him.
Everywhere somehow. If you come to China, extremely popular.
Yeah, especially I think in those family restaurants, I think.
Yeah.
I've been
Interesting.
to one of those restaurants and on their TV, there are Tom and Jerry all the time.
But yes, we should get back to 和, right? If you're connecting nouns, this works perfectly.
Yeah, and then here's the tricky part. 和 cannot be
和
used to connect two full clauses or sentences in Chinese.
Okay.
Yep. Beginners often try to translate English literally and make a mistake here. You know, in English, you'd say, I'd like a cup of coffee and he'd like a bottle of water. But in Chinese, you can't say, 我要一杯咖啡和他要一瓶水. That's incorrect.
The proper way is to simply separate the clauses with a comma or a pause. So in Chinese, I should say 我要一杯咖啡 Then
a cup
the
of coffee.
comma
Comma.
他要一
他要
瓶水
一瓶水 and he would like
我
water.
要一杯咖啡
我要
他
一杯
要
coffee.
一
I would
瓶
like
水
a cup of coffee and he would like
I want
a
a cup
bottle
of
of water.
coffee. He wants a bottle of water.
Perfect.
Yeah, and another example might be he is a teacher and his girlfriend is a doctor. You might be tempted at first to say 他是老师和他的女朋友是医生.
But in Chinese, you just need to drop the 和.
Okay.
他是老师，
他是老师，
他的女朋友
他的
是医
女
生。
朋友是医生。
他是老师，他的女朋友是医生。
Interesting.
He's a teacher. His girlfriend is a doctor.
Yeah, so the main takeaway is
I see.
和
So there's no and
only connects
there.
nouns, not full clauses,
You
sentences.
just have to take a pause.
Can be tricky at first, probably trickier in writing than it is in speaking.
Sounds
because,
like it.
You know, pretty flexible in English when you're speaking. But just something to remember.
Yeah, and in Chinese, you don't need any conjunction word between two clauses. You can just use a comma.
Okay, well, I think we've covered the basics of using 和. And if you really want to remember, you can open up your internet browser and search for 我和我的祖国, which is My Motherland and I, a very famous Chinese song. That'll definitely help you remember.
Yeah, because once you listen to it, you'll never forget the rhythm. Hopefully the lyrics.
Yeah. Anyway, good luck with that one.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for
We'll have
listening.
to check that out later, maybe tomorrow.
We'll see you next time on Teacher Talk. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What did he say it was called? Which sentence uses 和 correctly? Ooh, here we go. 我要一瓶水和一杯咖啡。我要一瓶水和他要一杯咖啡。I think it's this one. Oh. All right. Well, I kind of want to hear the name of the.
In writing.
What did he say it was called? I'm not sure it's going to load. We'll have to look it up later. Give it a second. Let's see. All right, let's move on to the next one. I think we heard its feelings. You completed 2 episodes. Great. Excellent. We still want to get that last one. Listen.
你好, everyone. I'm
你
Yan.
好. Hello,
And
Yan.
I'm Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Welcome to our Teacher Talk. In today's Teacher Talk, let's talk about one of the most underrated cultural habits in China and why something as simple as hot water might reveal health, tradition, and even a love language of Chinese.
In many countries, people say take care or get some rest when someone's not feeling well. But in China, you'll often hear drink more water or drink more hot water.
Interesting.
In China, hot water is basically a standard offering in all kinds of public places, from train stations and airports to hospitals, schools, and restaurants. So at home, of course, most family will always keep a thermos filled with hot water. And when they go out, they will carry a vacuum flask and also filled with hot water and hot tea.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a lot of hot water. And I certainly got used to offering hot water to guests at my house. The most memorable moment with hot water for me was a friend named Coffee Lee, not his real name, but he liked people to call him that. He came to my house and asked for hot water. And my wife poured him a cup of hot water basically right off the boil and said, "Hey, be careful, it might be hot." And he immediately took a sip and said, it's too cold. And I just was so shocked by this.
That
I
sounds
mean, I know
shocking.
he was making a joke, but
Okay, he
it
was
just made
joking.
me think like, do Chinese people have any feeling left in their tongues after drinking hot water for a lifetime? Because I was really impressed.
Now, trust me,
Nice.
Chris. We have been training for this since we were kids. So drinking hot water is like Chinese national sports. And you don't know that hot water heals everything. It's like a magical cure in Chinese. If you got a fever, drink hot water. If your stomach hurts, if you have a sore throat, if you had a headache, if you can't sleep at night, you know what to do, right? Hot
Hot water.
Yeah. And I mean, this might come off like a little bit callous or just like maybe a little bit annoying. Yeah. Whenever everyone just telling you drink hot water all the time and you're like, come on, I'm an adult. I know how to take care of myself. But, they really mean something good by it, right? They're really trying to show they care. The question I have is, where does this culture come from?
I think one of the big part is traditional Chinese medicine because according to the traditional Chinese medicine, keeping your body warm is considered key to maintaining health. Yeah, that's why many Chinese people still drink hot water or hot soup with every meal. I think it's a lifestyle that goes beyond habit, even in nowadays. Also, in earlier times, before water filtration and disinfection, boiling water was considered the safest way to make water drinkable. And
That
over
makes
time,
sense.
it just turned into a daily routine and passed through different generations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually had a talk with my doctor at an international hospital in Beijing, and she's quite interested in kind of the overlap between Western and Chinese medicine, and said there's some interesting differences in levels of arthritis between the U.S. and China, where China's lower. So I don't know. I mean, I've tried to look this up myself. I'm not a doctor, but maybe we're freezing our joints slowly by all the ice water that we drink. I mean, I tend to not believe it myself, but maybe I'll regret it when I'm 75 years old and my joints are creaking from all the cold water I drink.
Yes, so everybody should start drinking hot water right now. I'm the Chinese grandma. And I think another reason is the emotional attachment to hot water. Okay, let me ask you, do you still remember what your mom said when you were sick as a kid?
She usually say, I'll take your temperature. If you don't have a fever, you still have to go to school.
My mom said that as well. But okay, the first thing my parents would say, or any other Chinese parent would say, is to drink more hot water. Yeah,
Interesting.
we don't really question it. It feels just right. It's not explained it. Maybe
Checks
it's
out.
not scientifically proven, but
Go drink
it's
some hot
undeniably
water.
Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think, warm drinks are kind of universally accepted as having a soothing feeling. For me, it was more like, do you want a cup of tea, maybe? And the thing that is interesting to me, because, I mean, there's been a lot of different countries that have an obsession with hot water, and then like younger generations abandon the hot water and start drinking cold water. And I think that's starting to happen in China too.
Under
Oh, like the
Western
iced
culture,
coffee
today's
versus
younger
hot
generation
coffee?
definitely is more into cold drinks like
Mhm.
iced coffee,
Oh, yeah.
milk tea, smoothies, all of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything you can name.
Bubble
But
tea?
at the same time, I think they didn't abandon hot water completely. It's the idea of partying all night, writing papers until 3 a.m., while making sure to drink hot water on schedule. So we will do iced coffee in one hand and then hot herbal tea in another. So this phenomenon has a name in Chinese. It's called punk wellness.
Oh, yeah.
Punk
I love
wellness.
this one.
I don't know who came up with this, but he or she is definitely a genius. It's such a new wellness mindset.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite is people who kind of infuse hard liquor, baijiu, with goji berries and orange peel and all of these things. And it's like, it's a little bit good for you.
Where have you been, Chris? Why are you drinking something like this?
Yeah,
You
seriously.
don't know what this drink means in a winter. It will definitely keep your body warm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I guess that's the point.
Yeah. So I think hot water isn't just something our grandparents insist on anymore. For me, or maybe for a lot of Chinese, it's becoming a comforting ritual and even a meme worthy symbol of how Chinese youth blend tradition with modern life.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And obviously, it's beyond like the hygiene piece, which I think often people just attribute it fully to kind of hygiene. So it's something much deeper and give it a try. You might not like it at first, but it grows on you.
Remember to drink more hot water. So we'll see you in the next teacher talk. Bye
Well,
bye.
that was an
Bye-bye.
interesting one. That was entirely teacher talk and not a whole lot of practice, but I do think the hot water is something I never knew. I like iced coffee. 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 I like that one. Cool. That was a good learning episode. And I had two thoughts. One, do you use hot water? I make myself and my lady tea every morning. Today I was drinking an iced coffee. But the other thing that I thought about was longevity. He talked about living in his 70s, and this is a topic that I've discussed with some of my friends, and it makes me wonder, how long do you think you are going to live for? Um, my grandmother told me when she was my age, she thought she would only live to her 50s or her 60s. Her father passed away when she was in her teens, in his 50s, and so when she was growing up, she imagined living to her 50s or her 60s, and she's still alive today. She's 88 years old. And so she's living 150% longer than she thought. So I imagined myself living to 150. So if I apply the same math, I'll probably live to 225 years old. So yeah, there's plenty of time for new episodes and new languages to learn. And I I hope that you're enjoying this ride so far. And I'm curious what your thoughts are. So without taking up any more time, I want to say thank you and 再见. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day and find some time to smile. Bye bye.